Okay, welcome to Quick Concepts. This is for Algebra 2. Today we're going to be talking about solutions of equations. So this is just essentially solving for the unknown letter. This is the gist of algebra. This is kind of where it all comes together. So I'm going to do a couple examples and we're going to walk through it. So this one is first. And so we are going to be solving for x. So we're going to do what we can do on each side separately, and then we are going to combine x's on one side and all the numbers on the other. So you want to work on each individual side separately first. Then you're going to combine x's and then combine numbers. Okay, so I'm going to run this 2 through first. That's called the distributive property. So it looks like this, and most of you know this. I'm just going to kind of, let me actually, and you can think of it as fractions if it helps you when you're dealing with the other stuff. And then I'm going to run this negative through, so this will be a positive 1/4 x, and then a minus 2. So here, this will reduce to 1/4 minus 3x is equal to 1/4 x minus 2. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of my fraction. My favorite thing to do is to get rid of all fractions. And the way you do that, first of all, you can only do that when you have an equal sign in the equation. It has to be a solution to an equation problem, meaning you're solving for a letter. And you just want to multiply the whole thing by the common denominator. So all we have is a 4 and a 4, so that's our common denominator. And this is what that looks like. And you'll see how it ends up getting rid of all fractions. So this cancels out to be just 1. This becomes 12x. This cancels out to just be x. And this is 8. So it's so much easier to deal with now. Now, some people keep the fractions. Feel free, if that makes you happy, go ahead. I just try to look for the most efficient way. Now I want to combine the x's to one side and the numbers to the other. You want to do the opposite of what's happening. So subtraction of 12x, if I add 12x to both sides, this goes away, leaving me a 1. I got rid of the x's on that side, added them to this side, and now I have this. Now I want to put the numbers on the other side, so I'm going to do the opposite of subtraction of 8, which will get rid of it here. And now I have 9 is equal to 13x. And your last step is to solve for x. And we do that just by dividing both sides by 13. We divide because it is multiplied to the x, and you want to do the opposite. So that is how you find the solution of an equation. Let's do a couple more just for grins and giggles. Let's see. This is lesson 5, number 10. And this is going to combine so many things you've already learned about. Oops. It's going to learn to combine your exponents and distributive property and things like that. So first of all, let's get rid of all of our exponents because we can't do anything within the parentheses because they're not like terms, so we can't add or subtract them. So anything to the 0 power is a 1. So negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. Now be careful because this stays a negative 1 because that 0 does not affect the negative. This will be 5 times x minus 1 times 2. Okay, so now I can go ahead and do any multiplication. So I'm going to distribute this through, and it's going to be negative 6x plus 9 plus 1 minus 2. I'm going to run this 5 through. 5x minus 5, and this is going to be still times that 2. So these guys I'm just going to write down, and I'm going to multiply here. 2 times 5x is 10x, and that's minus 10. Okay, so now I want to work on each individual side first. So negative 6x, we have 9 plus 1 is 10, minus 2 is 8. Now I am ready to get rid of my x's on one side and combine them to the other. And then lastly, I'm going to add 10 to both sides. 18 is equal to 16x, dividing both sides by 16. So x just reduces to 9/8. And that is it for that. And let's just do one more just to kind of, um, let's skip down to 13 on lesson 5. I like throwing a fraction in there. See if we can get rid of it. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is run this through. So this would be 3 minus 4x, because that's half of 6 minus half of 8, plus this would be 6x minus 9. Now this is because 3/4 times 8, if you need to see that over here, is 6. That's where we get the 6x. And then 3/4 times 12 is 9. And that's where we get the minus 9. Now I'm going to combine like terms on either side. So 3 minus 9 is negative 6. And negative 4x plus 6x is a positive 2x. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So negative 6 is equal to 2x plus 6. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And x is equal to negative 6. And that is the end of solutions of equations.